Norfolk jacket. Not sure why it's called the Norfolk jacket. It should be called a Yorkshire jacket really or something. But anyway, I suppose Norfolk's got to have something, hasn't got anything else. Now, there's two basic styles that I've always made. This is actually my preferred one, because this particular style, I can make this on the back of the same pattern, the same basic pattern block that I use for a hacking jacket. It just has these straps sort of attached, but there's no upper panel here. And the belt on this one is actually a belt which actually moves around, and it's not really to be tightened up. It is still really decorative. Generally on this one, and I think I copied this from the old Bladen pattern, they have two buttons here, which is quite good because to size you can just move the buttons around if you want a tighter fit or whatever. Now, I had the best cutters, and I've just noticed this myself, that even though we have a strap here and it has a curve, the pattern matching is follows through, even though we're going overlapping onto a pocket flap, and here we've still got great pattern matching. So these are really fabulous things to wear, because you've got great big pouch pockets. So these days when you've got phones and all sorts of stuff to put in your pocket, you've got a really nice deep pocket, also used for cartridges. Sadly, people don't shoot in this stuff anymore. They wear sort of synthetic stuff. But now, this one, I think I put a warm lining in this one. This is one I wear myself, actually. I was wearing this one today. Very often I'll put a tad of... No, this just has a cotton lining, which is pretty warm, because this particular one is a 28-ounce tweed from Lovat Mill, and it was an exclusive one. You won't find this tweed in the pattern book. It was an exclusive one they did. Really, really super quality. As I've often said, Lovat Mill made the best tweed in the world. And of course the velvet collar is an inset velvet collar, not cheating and going all the way to the end. Now, the other pattern, now this one has a wool lining in it. This is a Melton lining on the inside of this one. Shepherd check, again from Lovat Mill, but let's just put this one on and show you the difference. See, this one has a panel on the shoulders like that. Let's just button it up. Oops, it's fighting me. Now, on the other jacket, the belt is an actual belt that you could actually take off, just like a belt on trousers. The belt on this one, that has the top panel here, is actually stitched all the way around. So this belt is actually just decorative. And one of the consequences of there being no manufacturing anymore in this country is you can't buy these leather buckles anymore. There is now no supplier of leather-covered buckles. You can get fake ones. I think the only people using them are Burberry, and they've probably got their own secret supply. Maybe there's somebody in India producing them, but the last time I made a Norfolk jacket, I was actually for a film, and we suddenly found we hadn't got a leather belt buckle. And of course, in film, you have to stand close-ups. So there's no good putting a plastic one on there and thinking you can get away with it. You don't get away with anything in films with continuity, people looking at you all the time. So this one, I think, also has a cuff on it just here. And my own cutter decided that it would be a good idea to put the straps here, like sort of diagonal like that, as a contrast to the vertical, and which is actually a pretty neat idea. I should have taken credit for it myself, really. But yeah, so two styles. Personally, I like this, but the one I like to wear is the first one I showed you. Yeah. Now, I'm wearing my Norfolk jacket because it's Yorkshire and it's a little bit cold, although nobody in Yorkshire ever complains about the cold because there's a word in Yorkshire which you don't hear down south that you don't want to have thrown at you. Anybody in Yorkshire complaining about the cold, somebody is likely to say, "That's nesh," which means weak and soft and unable to stand a bit of chill. But there's a nice warm Norfolk jacket. Now, in summer, if I'm in Chengdu or somewhere in China where it's nice and hot, it's nice to have the big pockets, and also nice to have something that's really breathable and cool. And almost identical to the pattern of the Norfolk jacket, sometimes they have belts, is you have your safari jacket, again with sometimes pouch pockets. This has got a vented pocket here, and yeah, loads of pockets suitable for modern things like there's a great big telephone in your pocket. This is a super one. It's 100% cotton. I think it's probably from, yeah, it's got a little belt here on the back. Doesn't do anything, it's just decorative, and a vented back. That needs pressing a little bit, yeah. That needs a quick press to get that back, but it's got that, it's a stylish bit of kit, and it's nice and cool to wear, but still gives you the pockets. This one was actually made by Burton. So I don't remember Burton having like a big sort of ready-to-wear area. They just did tailoring, but this is their old label with the old sort of font on that. And it's Montague Burton. So it just might have been in with their shirts and their summer range or something, maybe from the late 60s. Nice bit of kit. I actually wear this quite a lot in summer. And of course, here we have an original tropical or desert issue RAF safari jacket. This has got short sleeves, and it's a lovely bit of kit. I'm gonna copy this one, but I'll probably be doing it with a longer sleeve and just a button cuff on the sleeve. Now, these are designed to be laundered, so everything comes off this. I'll show you what I mean. These are going to be thrown in a washing machine. This one's been made for an officer. It's got things for officers, pips and things just there. So this is not a regular man's one. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, this belt, under that button, you can take the buckle off and the belt can go in the wash. Same thing with these lovely RAF buttons here. When it goes to the laundry, these buttons have little shanks and D-rings on the back, so the buttons are taken off and the whole thing goes in without any of its furniture, so it can be laundered. How often they did that, but this is a beautifully made bit of kit. It's really, really nice. As a manufacturer, I look at like corners and I look at stitching and things. This is really nicely made. See if we can find out who made it. Nope, there's no labels, there's no identification. Sometimes this stuff is made by foreign tailors in places where RAF might be stationed, like if they're stationed in Malta or somewhere, so there might be some local tailor there that's given the pattern, and he knocks a few of these up for the lads. Yeah, this is a lovely bit of kit. Yeah. If it had long sleeves, I'd be wearing it. This came into my possession, I don't know, maybe 30 years ago. I dearly wish it had been my size. It's a little bit big for me, but it's such a lovely garment. It's made in actually maybe a 12-ounce herringbone tweed, like a lambswool. It's a really nice tweed. Not sure where the tweed's from. Again, it's a bit of a sort of derivative of a Norfolk jacket. It's got these exquisite little tiny, they're probably like cuff buttons, the football buttons, but these are the proper leather ones that really look like a little miniature football. People stopped producing these quite a long time ago, so I don't think I'd be able to duplicate those now. It's such a lovely thing. It's the only one I've ever seen. It's unlined, so it's pretty much an all-year-round tweed. I'm going to find some nice tweed with a similar sort of flexibility and breathability to this, and I'm going to shamelessly copy this. I'm going to try my hardest to get some of these little buttons, because they just look so perfect on there. I mean, I could use a mother of pearl button or a horn button, but these look so dead right. They give it something. This is a really lovely thing, so I don't want to for it to disappear. People must be allowed to wear these again. The label in it is German. It just says ideal. Oh no, mistake. It's made in England. I thought it was a German label. It's made in England. But I don't know who Ideal were, probably some small producer. I've never seen another one of these. It looks a bit like a jacket that used to be made and sold through Simpson, with the Simpson brand as opposed to the Dax Simpson brand. So maybe it could have come from that direction. But yeah, this year, maybe late spring, I'm going to produce this. The first one I make is going to be in my size. And I think this this grey herringbone is a really good starting point. It's nice in plain colours, but I'm going to make them for men, and I'm going to make a ladies version as well, which will be, might add a belt to it for the girls. I don't know, but yeah, we're going to produce these this year. Now, I'm just playing around in my storeroom today, and tidying up. I just came across a pair of shoes. These are a pair of my shoes. They weren't originally my shoes. They're from the master. These are the epitome of bespoke shoes. Sadly passed now, George Cleverly. An incestuous old business, because he was, when I actually knew him, he was connected to Gaines in Eaton High Street and New and Lingwood, and I think they're all the same. And these have a New and Lingwood label in them, but you'll find some George Cleverly shoes with New and Lingwood, some with Gain written on them, and some with Cleverly. But these are absolutely beautiful. You notice this little curve here on the sole. So you couldn't get a better pair of shoes really than a pair from George Cleverly, and the very sort of distinctive slight chiseled toe you get on the front. But these are probably made early 70s, I suppose. Yeah, that's the period. I actually George Cleverly came into my camera shop at number 45 Thames Street, Windsor, and I swapped him a camera for a pair of jodhpur boots when he was at Ghent. Anyway, but I've got another pair of shoes here, curiously from the same sort of period. This would be maybe early 70s, something like this. This pair of shoes is a super quality pair of shoes, but there was a sort of style. This actually might be a little bit later. These might be even early 80s. This style was around in the late 70s and 80s. But this is a bespoke pair. It's not just from some fashion company, from a company called Kelpies, who used to make boots. And I think the store is still there in Fulham. They were in Fulham when I was in Fulham. This is a really beautifully made pair of shoes. Not my style. It's a little bit Miami, a little bit Italian maybe, but the quality, and this is real crocodile on the front here. Oh, well, crocodile is actually alligator. Really super pair of shoes. Now, these belonged to... In East London, you had the Crays and various gangsters, and South London, you had the Richardsons. Well, there were gangsters too in West London. And in the late 60s, early 70s, I crossed paths with a few of these people. And this pair of shoes belonged to a very famous West London gangster, but I'm not going to say who it is, because basically I daren't. Well, COVID is completely over now, and I was incredibly lucky. A lot of people ask me what I'm up to these days, and when I say I was incredibly lucky, my workforce in my factory was pretty much all retirement age, and it's just not possible to recreate those skills again in the UK, sadly. Now, in the old days, let's say you worked for Montague Burton or any of the dozens of big and small firms around Leeds manufacturing super quality garments. You could work there a few years, you've done your apprenticeship, get some skills, maybe set yourself up as a tailor. Most of the tailors around Leeds, and there were hundreds of them, had started in the factories, done their training there. But they would have given their all to the factories for a little while. They didn't leave like the next day. And so it was really easy, because all you had to do was rent a little place, buy some cheap tweed in Yorkshire. There's Huddersfield tweeds going around cheaply. Everybody had a suit length to sell. You would only buy a suit from a tailor in those days. It was so easy. You needed virtually no money at all. a second-hand sewing machine, and a few needles, and you're away. You're in business as a tailor. Impossible these days for somebody, say, leaving, I don't know, fashion college and wanting to start up and get into the fashion business as a manufacturer. It's impossible. Quite apart from the fact that fashion colleges don't teach them how to sew or don't teach them any skills anymore. I have a friend who's in charge of a very big French luxury goods company. I better not name it, but everybody knows this company. And he says, yeah, when we get CVs from Central St. Martin's, we don't even read them. They go straight in the bin because people from that outlet are so up themselves and have absolutely no skills at all. If you don't have the skills yourself, if you can't actually sew and cut yourself, it's no good creating something and then the real cutters and the real machinists say, well, actually, that's not possible to make that. But anyway, in the old days, people had skills and it was possible to start a factory with nothing. Now, you've got nowhere to park your car. It's impossible to drive in and out of cities. Movement is just really, really restricted to the kind of small businesses that need movement, need to go and buy some cloth and then get back and you've got a parking ticket. So it's virtually impossible now to start a small tailoring company in England. If anybody's got any money now in the UK, they're not going to put it into manufacturing. They'll be on a hiding to nothing. They're going to buy some flats and do Airbnb, something for an easy life, but they're certainly not going to invest money, which means people don't invest money in people who want to be manufacturers. Now, China. People say, oh, you manufacture in China, and is it cheaper there? It's got nothing at all to do with the cost. In fact, per unit, it's probably more expensive, a little bit. But in China, they train people, you have the skills, and you've got the future in China. And you've got the enthusiasm and the pride in their work and highly skilled people. I mean, there might be machinists that spend like 5 years putting zips in jeans. They certainly know their way around a machine. And so if you suddenly say, look, I'd like you to make some waistcoats, the training doesn't take very long because the sewing machine is already an extension of their body. And yeah, I miss the immediacy of having my own factory where you could come into my shop on Monday afternoon and have a waistcoat on Wednesday. And I was able to I made a lot of stuff for films and sometimes have a motorbike outside the factory revving up, waiting for something to go straight to the set. And plus you get to hang around a lot of famous people in film sets and stuff. So yeah, I miss that. But in China now, I'm going to be producing some ready-to-wear ranges and continuing making my morning coats, my waistcoats, and of course some tweed suits. Now, looking around in my storeroom, I find things that I've forgotten about. Just found this. Fabulous Glen check. This is really, really super. I'm not sure where I got this. I've probably had it in the factory. I've got 50 meters of it, which is enough to make, maybe 15 suits. A suit takes, a two-piece suit takes about 3.5 meters, 5 meters for a three-piece suit. So we get 10 three-piece suits out of 50 meters. This is really, really super stuff. I'm not sure who made it. It just says woven in the British Isles. It might be John G. Hardy stuff. It's got that kind of feel. It's a really super Yorkshire cloth. And I'm going to be making some a range of there's enough of this cloth to do a ready-to-wear range on it. And then I've got this really super old tweeds from the best mill in the world, Lovat Mill. I've got quite a lot of that stuff. So yeah, tweed jackets will be in production again. And in my unit here in Yorkshire, sometime in the new year, if I can find some good machinists, I'll be producing flat caps again. It's funny thing about flat caps, 10 years ago, before Peaky Blinders, maybe 15% of the caps that people bought were the 8-piece sort of American baker's boy style. Now it's 90%, and the old classic English county cap is not quite so popular. But hey, we go with whatever the market wants. I'll be making a lot of caps for the Peaky Blinders fans. Yeah. it's Monday again. I'll be back in London on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm in my storeroom again, looking at this really super stuff. And of course, I sell a lot of this stuff on eBay, and a lot of people have been telling me that they're having problems finding me on eBay. Well, my username is Fortinbras, and the shop name is Vintage Paradise Sheffield. Apparently, and I don't know what else I can do, they find it difficult to find me on that. But what I normally do is send a screenshot of one of the items, which will have its number on, and then you can see sellers' other items. So that's, I don't know of any other way to make the eBay shop more public. But anyway, look around here, lots and lots of really super tweeds. This first one here is a fantastic thorn-proof tweed. It's bespoke tailored. We're never going to see this quality again. But like I've said before, this area here, or an area somewhere, I've got to create about 1,000 square feet, because I need a pressing table and 2 or 3 machines and a nice big cutting table for myself, because I'm going to do some sampling here, and we're going to make some vintage quality tweed caps. Now, an awful lot of tweed that I have is maybe really silly sizes that's never ever going to sell, like, I don't know, size 52 extra short or something. And there's a lot of things that might get slightly damaged. I look at it and say, well, that's not really good enough to sell, but the material's really nice, and I think, yeah, I can get maybe 3 caps out of this jacket. So now I hang on to all the old stock. It's quite nice because you can take the old label, if it's an old Harris Tweed label, you can put the label in the cap when you finished it. Yeah, so all this lovely tweed here, and there's, I don't know, maybe there's several hundred tweed jackets. More around here. Thank you for everybody that turned up last weekend when I announced that we're doing super prices on jackets and overcoats. There's tons of warm overcoats in here from beautiful Crombie cloth that will never be made again. Oh, this is nice. I remember this really old Harris Tweed pattern. This is a bespoke tailored one. So it doesn't have the Harris Tweed label in it, but this sort of beige colour with a faint window pane check on it. Nice real horn buttons. This is probably just a provincial tailor. There's no label at all on the inside. But it's definitely, I think, early 50s, because it has this 100% cotton twill lining on the inside. There'll be a few little gems like this around. Corduroy. Corduroy has its following. A lot of people like corduroy for its comfort. You can wear it all year round. It's pretty cool. I've got 1 corduroy suit here, maybe 2 or 3 corduroy suits. And all these lovely, lovely tweeds. Again, I need to clear some space, so we're doing some fantastic low prices. This coming weekend, I'll be here Saturday and Sunday. And don't forget, everybody that turns up at the storeroom, which is it's not in London. Some people maybe misheard me last time and they thought the storeroom was in London. Couldn't possibly have a place this big in London. This is in a place called Fernscoe in Yorkshire. Feel free to contact me on Instagram to get more details. You can call, and yeah, so everybody that comes gets a free English woven silk tie, because I've got a lot of really beautiful ties here. I mean, there are also some Liberty brand ties. Now these just a little bit more expensive, but why not stock up with these for Christmas? And if you want an actual Christmas tie, I mean, Christmas jumpers are all right, but what about a Christmas tie? Got lots of these, but they're going to go pretty quickly. I'm here next weekend, so yeah, everybody that comes gets a free tie. Now, it is the season for dinner jackets and company dances and that sort of thing, so if you want to refresh your evening wardrobe, just along here, this very long line of super quality, super heavy Crombie cloth overcoats, and I think I have maybe 1,000 dinner jackets. Now, most of the dinner jackets I have, we mix and match with them quite a lot, because it's English Barrow-Thier. All came from the same factory, or the same factories in Leeds, so it's really easy to match up. If it's pre-1970, most of the fabric to make these came from the same place. So if there's a suit, perhaps the trousers don't fit the next person that it's going to be owned by, so we can mix and match easily with Barafia. So yeah, lots and lots of dinner jackets. Evening tails. Now maybe you just want to go to a goth weekend at Whitby, or maybe you are a concert pianist. Well, we've got lots and lots and lots of really beautiful evening tails. Now, of course, evening tails aren't commonly worn these days, but when they were worn, they were often made by tailors. So in evening tails, you've got really, really beautiful quality garments. Now, people's sizes. People have got a lot bigger, so it's pretty hard to find the big sizes in evening tails. But if you're size 36 or 38 or 40, well, you're in luck. There's, I think there's at least 100 really nice evening tails. And we can generally find the right trousers to go with them, which have to be high-rise because your trousers have to come up to past your navel. So, yeah, every Sunday, don't forget, come along. And there's, I think I'm wearing this tie myself today. Some ties tie a lot better than others. I like a tie where you can get a really nice, really tight knot. And this is one of the better ties I have here. I bought these boots at a car boot sale in Needham Market in Suffolk, and I said to the guy that had this sort of trestle table out, I said, "Oh, what you got on those?" He said, "Oh, the cowboy boots." He said, "A fiver, mate." So I said, "All right, okay, I'll take those." I didn't realise they were actually my size. I noticed straight away what they were. These are what are called mess wellies. These are like cavalry officers' boots. They're boxed for spurs. There's a little slot there, and these spurs can just sort of pull in and out. And I thought, yeah, I've got myself a nice pair of mess wellies, which are quite nice to wear, just with a pair of trousers. When I looked inside, I found the maker was Edward Green. I think buy a pair of mess wellies from Edward Green now probably cost you £1,500. So. Yeah, the cowboy boots were a bit of a bargain, really.